Chapter 1. What if we aren't stuck? Here is the only thing that will ever get us there. Christine Kane. Have you ever experienced a season of paralyzing confusion? A moment in life when you just feel stuck and don't know what to do next? Maybe you're going through a gut-wrenching breakup, an unexpected loss, or a mistake that feels unforgivable. Or perhaps this time of uncertainty roots from an unexpected rejection, something good coming to an end, or nothing going as planned. The list of possible reasons you've picked up this book goes on, but the bottom line is that confusion can get the best of all of us. Regardless of what brings us here today, I'm betting we've all at one time or another, or maybe all the time, found ourselves feeling numb to the things we used to enjoy, full of anxiety about what steps to take next, and so exhausted that we don't know how to purposely show up anymore. Isn't it crazy how easily this feeling of defeat can sneak into our lives? That's exactly how confusion greeted me. I'd spent 5 years after college building a successful career in the corporate world, and all had been going well. I'd happily worked for one employer and had never experienced anything like the frustrations that came when I accepted a new position within the same company. Red flags started popping up the first week in that new role, and as time went on, the flags only got bigger and brighter. Think maraschino cherries. By week 3, I learned my new team hadn't been including me in meetings because they were unsure of my role. No wonder my calendar had remained so clear. This is when confusion set in. My boss had clearly defined my role to the team numerous times, so their excuses weren't adding up. Did they want me to fail? Were they all against me? Why was this happening? Another month of being excluded was painful enough, but then a senior leader confronted me with a particularly hurtful comment. Why were you hired for this role? He went on to tell me that he didn't think my skill set matched their needs and that he wasn't sure how to use me on their projects. As you can imagine, my confidence level reached an all-time low and my confusion level continued to rise. For months, I felt rejected, unvalued, and lonely. My world as I knew it was falling apart. Day after day, I found myself wishing I could return to my previous position. Accepting this new role was supposed to be a move up in the world. It wasn't supposed to make me feel defeated and burned out. It was taking everything in me not to quit. A random, life-changing bike ride. As crazy as it sounds, a Peloton ride changed my perspective. One night, out of stress and frustration from yet another bad day at work, I hopped on my dusty Peloton exercise bike to take a spin and de-stress. The video class had already started when my husband Will walked in to find that I was just sitting there on the bike, watching the class play out on the screen. He laughed and said, "Hope, you have to move your legs." We were both cracking up. I knew he was right, but I was so mentally exhausted that mustering up the energy to move my legs was no small feat. There had to be another way to ride out this confusion, right? What was I missing here? Here's what happened after laughing over my exercise routine. I stopped being an observer of the class, I turned up the resistance on the bike, and I gave it my all like my Peloton instructor was telling me to do. As my posture went from defeated to determined, I was finally ready to take on the challenge coming my way. That's when an aha moment hit me. How Will had found me sitting on my bike was exactly how I'd been sitting in my life. Confused, exhausted, defeated, stuck. Just like in the spin class, I had become a bystander observing life going on around me. Instead of showing up at my job and giving it my all to work through the challenges, I had been letting the resistance stifle me. That's when I realized I can make a different choice. I could choose to fully show up and combat the challenges facing me at work and in life. What might happen if we all dared to shift perspective? What if this season of confusion could transform us in ways we can't yet imagine? What if this season is challenging us to show up fully to the life God has given us? What if, instead of being observers, we choose to live every day as if our purpose doesn't pause? You and I are going to share this season together, but we aren't going to sit still and watch other people live out their purpose. And we aren't going to end this journey in the same way we start. Instead, we're going to shift our posture from defeated to determined. We're going to get unstuck. We're going to show up and live our true purpose just as God has called us to do, because life is short and God doesn't press pause.